Assalamu alaikum, good evening, welcome to 9 p.m. English News brought into live by Télé Chaine. Here are the top stories. Minister of Interior Organization for Migration meeting of migration flows in the Horn of Africa. International news: Kenya presidential election. Kenya and Slimes destruction division opposition boycott parliament opening. That was the headlines, and now welcome to the national news. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, spokesman of the government of Mr. Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, has shared yesterday in Cairo the 148th regular session of the Council of Ministers of Foreign Affairs of the country's members of Arab League. This meeting was marked by a tension of positions between the Qatari delegate on the one hand and the other hand representative of the Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates to the other, as well as a result of the crisis occur within the members countries of the Gulf Cooperation Council. That is what they indicated. Ahmed, the official release complete as a result of this section. The agenda of this section has behaved in total 3 points, focusing primarily on the joint Arab action in the area of political, security, economic and social, the relation of Arab League with the international bloc and regional authorities have been drawn up. He has also considered the report of the Secretary General of the League of Arab States and the measures of implementation of the recommendation of the summit in 2017. In this intervention, the head of the Egyptian diplomacy has refuted the various issues contained in the agenda. He pointed out that the holding of this section comes at a crucial moment, which comes at a crucial in the effort and to find adequate solution to the thorny issues that arise in the Arab region. A meeting on the flees in Djibouti refugee and economic migrant was held today at the Sheraton Hotel. This technical meeting aims to assess the impact of this immigration flow on the country. It has been jointly organized by the Ministry of the Interior and the International Organization on Migration, the There is a widening of this phenomenon where at the time of economic migrants trying to reach the countries of the Gulf in through Djibouti, while at the same time the number of refugees fleeing the Yemen do not cease to grow. The latter are leaking more only the fighting but the humanitarian crisis and health that are gripping the Yemeni population, flowing the seizure of power by the rebels Houthis that supports the Iran. This cholera and the diversion of humanitarian aid have amplified the stories of the search of much as the major pillars of agenda of the state have been cut since almost a year. This meeting provided an opportunity to assess the situation and to draw up a balance sheet on the consequences of this immigration flow on the rise. According to the UN, this movement of population in distress has taken the magnitude in since 2015. The Republic of Djibouti is returned once more a land of hospitality of people fleeing the crisis or conflict in neighboring countries. Some has been pushed to save their lives or those of their children not to suffer from natural disasters such as drought and famine. In spirit solidarity notice, the government of Djibouti has just, in addition to decide to open the protects of its schools to the children of refugees. They will be allowed to follow the same program and schoolless curriculum that a child of Djibouti. The Minister of Interior Hassan Umar Mohammed has considered 1,700 Malis and the population estimating at 1,900,000 inhabitant immigrants. The Minister of Health, Dr. Jamel Mokiye, today completed a 3-day official visit to the Kingdom Sharifian. Upon his arrival, the Minister of Health has been warmly received by the Moroccan Minister of Health, Al-Hussein Lord, the minister led a delegation which included the ambassador of Djibouti in Morocco, Mr. Ibrahim Bile Douale, the director of SNS, Mr. Hassan Roble, as well as the senior officials of the Department of Health. This working visit is part of the framework of the strengthening of bilateral relations. During the talk, the two parts have reviewed all the items on the agenda in mutually reaffirming their commitment to work in the direction of the consolidation of the partnership, in particular in the area of training of specialized physicians and paramedics, as well as inspectors of health for the control and audit of the health system. Egyptian delegation led by the Minister of Energy, Charge of Natural Resources, Mr. Yunus Ali Gedi, accompanied by the Director General of the Electricity of Djibouti, EDD, Mr. Jamali Gili, and the Director of the Office Development of the Geothermal Energy, ODIC, and Mr. Kayad Musa Ahmed, is the during in the Florence in Italy from 11 to 11 September 2017 to take part in a conference of high level organized by the Global Alliance of the Geothermal, and whose main theme was the ways and the means to work together to promote the geothermal energy toward development of visual energy. The conference has brought together more than 200 people from 17 countries and different sectors, public and private. The latter meeting to discuss the challenge and opportunities related to the exploitation of the geothermal energy. At the end of the conference, the President adopted the Florence Declaration, recognized the importance of mobilization, the necessary finding of the production of the electricity, which has low cost, but also for heating and air conditioning from the geothermal energy, as well as other commitment factor for promoting the exploitation of renewable energy. The Minister of Defense in charge of relations with the Parliament, Mr. Ali Hassan Badon, has received this morning the Minister of State of Defense of Japan, and Tomohiro Yamamoto. The meeting took place in the presence of the Ambassador of Japan and many senior military ranks, Japanese and Egyptian, including General Hassan Ali Kamil, advisor to the Semga. A warm welcome has been received the Japanese delegation, as well as Tomohiro Yamamoto has reaffirmed the commitment of his country to contribute to the strengthening of security in the region. The exchange have also focused on the strengthening of the fight against piracy in the Gulf of Aden and the security situation in Somalia. The Minister has thanked the Minister of State for the support of his country to the armed force in Djibouti and civilians. The East Africa Bank has presented this morning a check of 16 million francs for the foundation of the President. Right, the housing the foundation has a very specified objective, which is to help the most disadvantaged to the who have not the same housing. The foundation is active for the over to needy family of housing. The ceremony of presentation of the check was held in the headquarters of the foundation right to housing in presence of several senior officials of the country, including the Secretary of the Presidency, Mr. Mohammed Abdullahi Wais, the Director General of the foundation to the housing, Mr. Mahmoud Ali Osman, the Director General of the East Africa Bank, Mr. Ibrahim Rashid Afar. The Director General of the foundation thanked the East Africa Bank for his contribution. He recalled that the initiative of the President of the Republic, which is to meet the needs of the most needy He has invited the other institutions to do the same for social action and for sustainable development. The East Africa Bank is an institution to financial corridor which operate in the market of Djibouti and which contribute to all kind of social action. The Directional Mr. Ibrahim Rashid Afra thanked the President of the Republic for his noble initiative. The League of Ulmas of Djibouti has organized this morning the meeting room of the Ministerial Court of Seminar entitled the Organization of Training Method Successful for the Ulama of Djibouti. The purpose of this meeting is to promote the call to good and the fight against the Bashariya to Djibouti, the capital, and the internal speakers. This seminar has seen also the participation of the President of the League of Ulama of Djibouti, Sheikh Abdurrahman Muhammad Ali, and the Vice President of the League of the Ulama, Sheikh Shafi, as well as the member of the League of Ulama of Djibouti. Still on the national news, the Minister of Agriculture, Animal Husbandry and the Sea responsible of hydraulic resources in cooperation with the Veterinary Corporation Senior of Djibouti have organized this morning a large workshop spent in the veterinary field this training, which brought together many veterinarians in all regions of Djibouti as well as specialized emerged in the great dynasty of the work at the Chinese mission of the veterinarian spirit who preparing the topic game in Djibouti. This workshop also focused on the training of the restraint the animals they live and the preservation of ceremony. It will be remembered that under the aegis of the Ministry of Agriculture, raising the awareness of local population on the prevention of a pandemic, it consists of Chinese experts and Jewish professionals. Like the country, the College of the Kil after secondary and the primary school has opened this door yesterday morning. Students have returned to the class with the administrative staff and teachers have returned their class in good condition. The commission in charge of the school returned the prefect of the region, Mr. Mohammed Shiko Hassan, the president to the council, Mr. Regional Abdurrahman Ari Yunis, are also made at the center of the establishment of the college to travel and see the state of the conduct of this return to the College of the Kil. We have the great regret to announce the death occurred today in Addis Ababa of our former colleague Abdul Faryahya Muhammad. He was returning in the Ethiopian capital for flow care. The disease has long associated the function of journalists and talented facilitators within the radio television, especially as in mystery several languages. Abdul Faryahya had presented the newspaper, television, radio of the Arabic service this 1983. About to his retirement, his health deteriorated as a result of complication due to his diabetes. The disease leaves behind him even though 8 children and smaller children. He also, after our colleague Abdul Hassan Yahya, journalist within Arabic service on national television. In this painful circumstance, the duration of Rtd, the staff and especially the whole of the journalists addressed to the family of the late Abdul Yahya their heartfelt condolence and the expression of their profound sympathy. Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. And now the regional news. Now Kenya President Uhuru Kenyatta opened Parliament on Tuesday by warning against divisive and destructive politics, while opposition lawmakers boycotted the legislature and related to demand the resignation of election officials. Sayyid Mohammed has the latest.
Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta opened parliament on Tuesday by warning against divisive and destructive politics, while opposition lawmakers boycott the legislature and rally to demand the resignations of election officials. Kenya held parliamentary, presidential and local election on August the 8th, but the Supreme Court nullified the presidential result 3 weeks later, citing irregularities in the tallying process. New elections are scheduled for October 17. While calling for unity and respect for the Constitution, Kenyatta delivered a thinly veiled warning to the opposition lawmakers who had chosen to stay away from Parliament. My government will not tolerate anyone intent on disrupting our hard-won peace and stability. Under no circumstances must Kenyan ever allow our free competitive process to become a threat to the peace and security of our nation, he said to the foot stamping and cheering from the ruling party legislators. A government body monitoring hate speech said that it has seen a spike since the Supreme Court ruling. More than 3 times as many incidents were reported in the weeks following the ruling than during the whole 10 weeks election campaign, it said.
An search and rescue team is made their way into the Florida Keys for test Tuesday, while a federal official estimated 1/4 of homes in Keys were destroyed. More information in the following video.
2 days after Irma rolled in the island's chain with 130 kilometers wind, residents were allowed to return to the parts of the key closest to Florida mainland, but the full extent of the death and destruction there remain a question mark because communication and access were cut off in places. It's going to be pretty hard for those coming home, said Pretona Hernandez, whose concrete home on Plantation Key with 35-foot wall were unscathed, unlike others a few blocks away. It's going to be devastating for them. Elsewhere in Florida, life edged closer to normal with some flights again taking off, many curfew lift and major themes park reopening. Cruise ships that extend their voyage and rode out their storm at sea began returning to port with thousands of passengers. The numbers of people without electricity in the late summer heat dropped to around 10 million, half of Florida population. Officials warned it could take 10 days or more for power to be fully restored. About 110,000 remain in shelter across Florida.
That's it for tonight's news. Thanks for being with us and have a wonderful evening.